Welcome back to the Now What podcast, man. I'm Arian Foster, and I got a real special guest today, man.
Fucking
for
specials.
sure, man. Before we get into all that nonsense, I want to thank Smarty Pants Vitamins.
I was going to say, when you said before we get into that, I was like, wait a minute, did you fuck around and get a sponsor?
I think I got a sponsor, man. I think I got a sponsor. So, yeah.
Hello, Mama.
Smarty Pants Vitamins. They are the sponsor, the title sponsor to this podcast. So if you feeling lethargic and you're eating like shit, maybe that can help, maybe it won't, but odds are better if you pop them. So Smarty Pants Vitamins, go get you some. We have Neal Brennan in the building. Well, I'm in his building actually. So
yeah, that's right. You're welcome.
Yeah, I appreciate it. And this is actually round 2, man. I did the first one and the audio came out like shit. So
anybody who was a fan of my podcast, The Champs, knows that the audio always came out like shit. That's kind of my hallmark. Same machine, actually.
Same machine.
So you understand. That's why we did a podcast with Alan Hughes where he talked about fighting Tupac, and it sounds like he was coming to us live from a submarine.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Like,
great story. Really poorly engineered.
You didn't try to do anything to fix.
I tried, but there was nothing we could do.
Damn.
Yeah.
So why didn't you get a new machine? I mean,
cause fuck all of that.
Fuck all that shit.
This actually was the new machine after the Allen episode, but it was still fucked up.
All right, well, I appreciate you getting.
Yeah.
Sharing your new
My
equipment with me.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, you won't travel to do podcasts, so
You came to me.
I'm more than happy.
I'm like, I'm just over it. I'm like, I'll if you come to me, I'll do it. Like I did I'm comparing myself to Kobe Bryant right now, but I don't know if you remember when you I don't know how high up you got in the Nike world, but I did a Nike commercial and the Kobe. I've done 2 commercials with Kobe, one for Nike and one for 2K, and both times Kobe was like, I'll do it, but it's got to be within 15 minutes of my house.
I mean, that's
so like.
I think you've earned that right, though.
Yeah, like I'll do it, but I'm not coming. So we did like go to Irvine. I had to go to Irvine twice, and it's like, all right. And again, I'm not saying I'm like Kobe. I'm just saying the thing that people don't understand about athletes doing commercials is they already got paid by Nike.
Yeah,
so like. It's just like, yeah, I guess I'll do it. Nike's never sued anybody for breach.
You know what I used to hate about that, though, is because like I used to go like either a photo shoots or a commercial or something like that, and people used to walk away and think, man, you're so easy to work with, you're so nice to work with. And I'm just like, what kind of people are you working with? But then I see how other athletes and entertainers really interact with people, and they really treat people like shit. And that was my whole thing, was like I never felt any bigger than anybody else, but more than anything, everybody's here to do a job. Nobody really wants to be here. Everybody's here doing a job. Yeah. So like, let's just make
we're all working
as smooth as possible.
Yeah, the thing that I've found with like Kobe and shooting with him is that he must have snapped at somebody at some point. Basically what happens is they snap at their manager, and then the manager snaps at the company forever. Meaning like the way Kobe's schedule, it was like, Kobe will arrive at 9:45. At 9:50, Neal, you will go into his trailer. At 9:55, he will do hair and makeup. At 10 o'clock, and I remember looking at that and going like, I got to tell like Dave and Chris that they can act like this. Like this military.
I think there's only a few people that can get away with that. Before it's like,
okay, so then I did a Gatorade spot with JJ Watt, and I was explaining to him, like, in the rest of showbiz, like, the other thing that athletes do is they give you a 3-hour window. Sometimes it's 6, but most of the time it's 3.
Right.
And that's from their manager. I've heard stories of athletes doing commercials, and their manager comes on set and hits a clock timer.
Little chest
a
timer.
Countdown timer. Like, you have 3 hours, go. So that's also part of the reason why athletes have this. Apparently, it started with Michael Jordan, that this guy Joe Pitka, who directed all of his Gatorade and all basically, and directed Space Jam, and would get him in and out quickly. And then Michael was like, "I want Joe for everything."
Right.
So then that became like an arms race of who can get athletes the fastest in and out. And so now it's down to like 3 hours, and it's got to be like military precision, because people believe that athletes are always training. Now, I know enough athletes to know that you're training for 2.5 hours a day tops, and the rest of the time you're hollering at hoes on Instagram.
There's some truth to that. There's some truth to that.
Well, again, it doesn't necessarily be hollering at hoes, but it's like,
it doesn't necessarily have to be Instagram.
Yeah, correct.
So for the people that don't know you, man, and the reason why you know all these athletes and directing Gatorade commercials and all of this shit, you are like the most underrated comedian in the history of comedy.
Oh, thank you.
Would you go
I don't know how I'm rated. I would say
Instagram followers, obviously.
Yeah. I would say that there are times when people say, like, I didn't know you were funny. I'm like, so you looked at all the shit I did and were still unsure? But that's the thing about comedy, is until you do it in front of someone, they're like, nah.
Yeah.
Until they see you be funny.
Yeah. It's a tough position to be in. But like you're behind the scenes is so much classic shit.
Right.
Like I'm talking, let's see, Half Baked, the Chappelle Show, all that. Let's see, what else? Like, I don't want to disrespect the craft.
What else? I mean, those are the big ones. The Seth's Correspondents Dinner, that's a big one.
Yeah.
Seth Meyers' Correspondents Dinner. I directed Michelle Wolf's HBO special. I EP Chris's Chris Rock's Tambourine special on Netflix.
The whole, I mean, you could go for
just a bunch of, mostly I directed Amy Schumer's first season.
Right.
Like,
you directed Hove's.
I directed the Jay-Z 444 documentary about black dudes. About the black experience.
About the black experience, because I know a lot about it.
Ezra Edelman wasn't available, who directed the OJ movie.
But no, it's like you're behind the scenes of so much classic, iconic, cultural, impactful things, and nobody knows. And so that's why I think you're super underrated.
Oh, yeah. Well, people don't want a white guy to have done some of that stuff. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't say that.
I understand that, though.
Yeah, they don't want a white guy to have directed a good.
Do you understand that?
1,000%. I 1,000% understand it. Like, if I said to Jay-Z, I was like, hire a black dude. like, I think I'm sure they wanted Ezra Edelman, who did the OJ documentary. He just wouldn't do it.
Right.
So I get the idea that, like, black people would rather see a black person do something that contributes to black culture. I would take I understand it, and I think they're correct. Now, that's my top opinion. My second place opinion is humanity,
right?
And like art. Like, if I can divine an artistic spirit, and if I can divine Dave's artistic spirit, comedic spirit, if I can divine Chris's, if I can divine Hove's album artistic spirit, isn't that just as valuable as a black person being able to do it. It's not just as valuable, but it's close.
Right.
Is it worth the work being great if a white... Also, isn't the point of all this is to get past racial divisions? It's like everybody talks out of both sides of their mouth when it comes to racism. It's like, we got to get past all these racial divisions, but we doing this for us. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And again, because white people basically started it.
Without a doubt.
White people started it, so I get it.
But I think that's the interesting dynamic to me about your position in comedy and the position that you kind of accept is like, you know, this is kind of like a culture for black people. It's not, but it is. It's a weird dynamic, but I think it has to be right now. Like, I don't think we're at a point.
I know.
Yeah, I don't think we're at a point in America where we could be like, all right, everybody's the same.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just politically and ideologically, we're still very far apart.
Yeah.
I think this climate right now is going to actually help eventually. Like the offspring of this generation is going to keep going towards progression. But right now, I don't see. Well, I work with Trevor Noah too, that's, on the Daily Show. Right.
I used, like, last year I'd be on it and I produce it like once consult.
Right.
But he said, like, he has mentioned me in speeches to kids of, like, to white kids especially, like, you're stupid if you. I'm the only person who can kind of. Or I'm one of the few white people that can actually write for black people in a way. And it's like, I've got the market corner. It's not even a market.
Right.
I didn't know it was a market. It didn't start as a market. I just wrote with Dave and then friends with all his friends. You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, you grew up in the culture, so you.
But I didn't grow up in the culture. I grew up watching the culture.
Not literally. I mean, in a sense,
yeah.
like you
yes. Via Spike Lee, like when Do the Right Thing came out. Spike, I was 15 and Spike talked about going to film school, and I literally was like, "What school?"
All right.
And then, based on Spike, I like looked up film school, and then ended up going to NYU, the one that he went to. Like the impact of like that on my life is like incalculable.
Right.
It's incalculable. So like,
that's a great word.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I have the best words.
You in trouble.
And so I get the idea that it's not time for racial there was I mean it's not even it's like there can be racial harmony, but there's too many there's too many stumbling blocks. Intentional stumbling makes it sound like it's your fault for stumbling. Yeah, it's like, no, there's too many roadblocks for black people.
This is it's a hard thing for me to articulate. So like there is, I mean, as a comedian, like there's a difference between a white audience and a black audience, and you have to be cognizant of that. Do you not?
Yes.
So like, what is the differences? Like when you're,
I will say for the record, I don't know. Ta-Nehisi Coates wrote me up one time in the Atlantic Monthly on their website. I was a huge fan of this. Is before he was like big,
right.
And he wrote a thing about me. It was a long story. It was about writing for black people. And I in an interview,
like
Mike Epps said I shouldn't be writing for Dave. Shouldn't have had no white boy writers, and it was kind of like my thing was like, well, if then the opposite's true. If white people can't write for black people,
right.
The opposite's true, and also like the best black character of all time is arguably was written by a white guy.
Who's that?
David Simon, and there would be Omar on The Wire.
Okay. I have yet to see The Wire.
Okay. All right. It was Obama said it was his favorite. Like,
right. No,
again,
I
so
know,
it's
I know
like,
who Omar is.
It's not like white people can't write. So anyway, it was a point that was not worth making.
Right.
That I made in this interview.
Right.
And Ta-Nehisi took me to task for it. In our we then email exchanged, and he said that I shouldn't make generalizations about black audiences. And I was like, Ta-Nehisi, it's easy for you to say that, but I'm a race car driver, and I can't. If I'm on a different track, I can talk about the track.
Well, see, that's the thing.
And that's the thing. I get the impulse to be like, "Yo, shut the fuck up, white boy."
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, but in this case,
so talk about that when you're saying you understand where to come from. Like I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
But because there is and this is a hard conversation to have with black people in general. Being black, you come off as a Thomas Sowell or like Uncle Tom, but it's like there is a double standard that we have to admit. If we're, like I said, it's just hard for me to articulate because I understand it and why people have disdain for like a traditionally cultural impactful character is written by a white man.
Right.
Why is that? Because there's history of stigma and characterization
and why
but this
black people aren't in a position to have an HBO show that's meandering and slow and that's the thing about The Wire is it's meandering and slow and it takes about 5 episodes to manifest itself in you, and that's the thing that black people didn't have a chance to do till like a couple weeks ago. I mean, like, I'm kidding, but like Atlanta and Insecure and The Chi and all these shows.
So, what do you think the shift was as far as why?
I think the shift was because I talked about this on Charlamagne's show, like on the Breakfast Club, whereas like white people saw black dollars as less valuable. If a black movie if you're a producer, right, and you go to a cocktail party, it's cooler to have made $100 million off a white movie than a Tyler Perry movie.
Wow.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, so there is still that.
Now, I mean, literally, I said that a year or two ago on his show, and now it's kind of shifted where whoever produced Get Out has a lot of cachet because it won an Academy Award. But because it won an Academy Award, it had to have cachet to win an Academy Award in the first place.
Right.
The thing that's relevant to what I'm saying or tangentially associated is I read an article yesterday on Very Smart Brothers, or it was on The Root or something, and about Donald Glover's white wife.
I saw that, yeah.
And Jordan Peele's white wife, who's a friend of mine. Mm-hmm. And it's the thing of, and Dave had an Asian wife, and like the sort of,
I don't think you'll get as much flack for an Asian wife.
Yeah, well, because it's different. I don't know why. It's just something about it. It is though. Have you been oppressed? They've been. Asian people been through their shit.
But it is. It has become, like Dave said, it has become an oppression Olympics.
Yes, exactly. And but it's like, is there not something to Donald and Jordan, two black guys falling happily in love and being in a stable relationship?
Right.
Like that's like, in terms of value,
right,
that's less valuable than being in a like, I make a case that audiences would rather those guys be in unhappy relationships with black women,
black audiences,
than happy relationships with white or Asian. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I
like,
agree.
And that's the thing of like, what about personal happiness? And also, what about when are we gonna, and I'm not saying this as a challenge. I'm not saying like, when are black people? I'm saying it like, it'll be fun to see the shift from, okay, we're safe. Again, and
I don't think we're gonna live to see it.
Yeah, I think you're right.
I'm gonna die first, but I think the reason why is, and this is my disdain for the right wing rhetoric.
I just thought of a movie idea for you, by the way.
Oh, cool. Tell me off. Tell me off.
No, I'm going to tell you on.
Okay.
Bulworth.
I've never saw Bulworth.
Oh,
I've heard of it though.
It's Warren Beatty plays a politician who puts a bounty on his own head, so he has 48 hours to live and just says whatever he wants.
Okay.
It would be Bulworth, but a football player who has CTE. and just says says whatever the fuck he wants to white people.
I'm down. You write it?
Yeah,
I don't care if it's written by a white man. No.
You know what? Thank you, Arian. That's that good hair talking.
But I'm only half black, so I mean.
Yeah, exactly.
But no, I think this is my disdain for like I was saying, the rights rhetoric is the reason why a black audience would rather see a black couple in turmoil rather than, and this is an all generalization for sure, but you won't get any flack for it. Oh, you're with that black woman. You won't get that. It's because for generations, black anything has been viewed as negative.
Yeah.
So Martin Luther King used to speak on this as far as like the words we use in this country, and everything black is bad, is dark.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? There's very few black terms that are positive.
Yeah.
And all the white ones are a little white lie, heavenly white sky, whatever. So after a while, you start to internalize that and view that as self-hatred. And so there's been so much ideological programming into black people in this country that has to be undone generationally.
Yeah.
Because I still see it in people today. Like there's a lot of self-hate.
And beauty standards. Like, did those guys internalize, Donald and Jordan internalize white beauty standards?
Yeah.
And then they
beauty standards is a real thing. So it's like, if somebody can genuinely fall in love with a white woman, it's still frowned upon in the black community because we're still struggling with self-identity of like, we are beautiful too. And so for so long, black love is viewed as anti-white or anti-hate,
right?
Or white hate. And it's a false narrative, but that has been portrayed.
Right.
Like, I mean, we had to have a "I love myself" movement.
Yeah.
Like, in this country. So that's where it comes from. And
you're talking about Kendrick's song. I'm kidding.
No. I was talking about like
say it loud. Yeah.
So like there had to be movements in order to say, "Oh, black is beautiful."
I am somebody. Yeah. I again, that's one of those things that I 1,000% I agree with.
But this is what I'm saying. It's a hard conversation to have because you see that in terms of like I understand that side, but I also understand progressive thought, and this is what it is.
And you're speaking as a guy who has a white baby mama.
I have 2 white baby mamas.
Damn.
Yeah.
And yes.
Yeah,
and I'm sure you've had that investigation within yourself of like, did I ingest these beauty standards?
No, that's the thing. So I can't speak about one because some court things. But for as far as my first wife, which I'm not divorced from, it was a situation where I thought I was doing the right thing. I had a baby by her, and it was my first daughter. And she's from out of the country, and so she was traveling back.
She's from Wakanda.
No, she's definitely not from Wakanda. She's definitely a colonizer. But no, I think it was just like when I was young in the NFL, I thought I had a vision of what the right thing was, and I was trying to people please and do.
Oh, that's funny. So you're like trying not to be You're trying not to be a stereotype of the deadbeat dad, and you end up being the stereotype of the black athlete with a white baby mama.
Yeah, and
that's funny, man.
It is hilarious. And I used to hide from that story. I used to try to I used to block people that used to like talk about it on Twitter, like all that shit. But then after a while, I was like, it was actually an African proverb changed my mind.
Is that true?
I swear. But it says it's an African proverb that says, he who wears his dirt the best is the healthiest. And that shit changed my life. And I learned that shit. I had actually went to rehab because I was going through a lot of emotional turmoil because I loved her, but I wasn't in love because like I'm in love now.
What was the rehab? I mean, for what? What did you check in with?
I was trying to save my marriage, and I had to check because I was slaying.
Got it.
I was out there, my best life in the NFL, and I had a baby on the side. And so I was trying to do what I had to do to save my marriage. But in that, I realized that I probably didn't want to save my marriage, and I still put on the front like I did. But then when she found some more stuff, she's like, "I'm filing for a divorce." I was like, you know what? It was probably the best thing to happen. And then
she hired a female lawyer. You fucked the lawyer. It was a cascade.
No, I was a dude lawyer, and I never see that motherfucker. But no, I mean, I understand the internalization of, or not even that. I understand the societal pressures that people go through, especially in the limelight and all this stuff, and all of a sudden you're the flag carrier for a culture. You didn't sign up for that. You're just trying to get out of the ghetto, man.
Yeah.
And so it's just so much baggage unpacked, but it's like we're all dealing with these problems outwardly and publicly, and the problem with when you're talking about like a black community in a generalized way is you can't talk progressively without being sympathetic for the historicity of what has happened in this country. So it's a fine line you have to walk.
Yeah.
That's what happened with Kanye. I don't think what Kanye's saying is necessarily inaccurate. I really don't.
I know what he means. I'll say that.
That's what I'm saying. I think he's extremely unempathetic towards the history of this country.
I said I had a number of fun texts last week around the Kanye stuff with people very, like, I mean, I've known Kanye, met Kanye, he did Chappelle show. This is the first time he did TV, like, before his album came out.
Oh, you know Kanye? I mean,
I don't know him good, but, like,
right.
I saw him 6 weeks ago in Germany, like, I was with Dave, and so I said Kanye sees Trump as punk rock. It's like he doesn't give a fuck. He's punk rock, and I go. He might as well go like Kanye. Might as well be saying like that's why I like food poisoning because it cleans me out. And then so I was texting Michael Che that I texted him that, and then I like food poisoning because it cleans me out. And then Che texted back, me and Cuddy was having diarrhea like a year and a half ago. Y'all made fun of us. Y'all wasn't up on diarrhea.
You're 100% right in that.
It's like, dude, something can be like ahead of its, it can have cultural markers that are positive, but it's like skin. The Klan it can be looked at as this cool exclusive club. Do you know what I mean? Like it literally depends on anything can be made cool. They had a cool I mean, like, you know what I mean? Like
right.
Their fucking iconography is dope. They fucking point. It's like, but it doesn't, that's also, you have to look at the totality.
Yeah.
It's very negative. Like the swastika is a good logo.
It actually was rooted in, I could be fake news, but I thought it was like rooted in, it was a Native American symbol.
Yeah. It's an old symbol that they appropriated, and the Klan is appropriated from like some Spanish or Italian ritual,
really?
Like a church ritual,
right?
Because a mixed girlfriend of mine was in the town and rounded the corner, and they were coming toward her.
Oh wow!
And was like, "What the fuck is going on?" Like, was like in tears, and then she like someone knows, like, "No, this
is different."
Yeah. So I get the freedom. I get the freedom. I think it's just it's the thing that no one's 100% anything.
Right.
So like there's people can have multiple things. It's just one. It's basically in terms of decision making, it becomes a majority rules thing within yourself. It's like I'm for abortion, right? I'm pro-choice. I'm not 100% pro-choice. There's a part of me that's like, I mean,
right.
Like that's just, but like I'm 70-30. So 70, that's how I'm voting. Like I'm
70-30.
Yeah. I'm 70-30 for abortion. Part of me is like women's it's reproductive rights, and then part of me, I told somebody abortion is kind of killing kind of a baby. You're a little bit killing a little bit of a person.
Kind of.
So that's part of my decision making. So like
that's the one political issue where I'm like, I have no dog in that fight.
Yeah.
So I have to lean more towards your choice, because I don't even want to be involved in your choice. It's really because like we're sitting here trying to debate when life starts, and scientists don't.
Yeah,
even
exactly.
know. Like the science isn't clear.
Yeah.
But to go back to that point, I saw this interest, and I don't know if you saw this thread. It was about the whole Kanye situation.
Mm-hmm.
And it made so much sense that I thought I was all right.
Was it the one about the performance art one?
Yes. So I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I don't subscribe to any of those. 9/11, none of that. Like, I need hard factual evidence before I'm like, that makes any sense.
I just have to name drop quickly and do something funny that I said. Which Questlove sent it to me. And
threat?
Yeah, Amir sent it to me, and I wrote back, yeah, maybe Amir, and then I wrote like 9 emojis. Because there was a whole thing about like that one emoji symbolizes
right. So for people that don't know, there was this dude that had a thread on Twitter that said what Kanye West is doing right now is a public performance arts piece, and there were clues, and the clues he left were so detailed and so specific that for it not to be that, I would be surprised if it's not that, because he went and broke, and I'm gonna butcher it, but he broke down how Kanye would tweet certain things, and there were certain. I'm gonna butcher the.
It's really hard to explain. You should just find the thread.
Right now?
No. The people listening to this should just find the thread, because it's literally impossible to.
It is, but it went into historical figures, how they did performance arts pieces, and what those performance arts pieces represented, and it's all like put together in this thread. And I thought it was a brilliant thread. The fact that you even laced those things together, was brilliant. But to me, like I said, I would be surprised if that's not the case. And if he does, I think that's one of the most brilliant things I've seen an artist do.
Here's what I think. I think Kanye has said he has mental health issues. Right. I can see. I'm not laughing at that. I know a mental health issue when I see it, having experienced it firsthand, and having gone through my own mental health issues and witnessed other people's mental health issues. I just know a mental health issue when I see one.
Right.
And I go to therapy once, like I've been going to therapy. Like I just know enough I'm enough an armchair psychiatrist that I'm like, and also I know a bipolar person when I see one. Right. He's bipolar. Yeah. It's just bipolar, and he's having a manic episode. Like he can also think it means a lot of stuff, but, I just know a manic episode when I see one. So
it could be a manic episode, because I have very close family members that are bipolar, and they've had manic episodes.
If you look up mania, if you look up manic depression, and you look through the symptoms of mania, it's literally like Kanye's going down a list. Number 1, grandiosity. I'm the greatest artist of all time. Number 2, like literally paranoia. Fuck everybody. I can't be managed. Like there's all of them.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, it makes 100% sense. Yeah. But to me,
again, if it is all an art piece,
right?
Kanye's one of my favorite recording artists of any genre of all time.
I appreciate you.
I really believe, you want to talk about underrated, nobody has done what he did.
I agree.
No one's even come close. Like,
yeah, he's special.
To produce and rhyme over all the, like, nobody did that.
He produced an entire John Legend album, like, by himself. Yeah. So it's insane.
Yeah, like, I mean, like I would say Pharrell, but like Pharrell can't rap, so.
Yeah, it's true. So no disrespect to Pharrell.
No, Pharrell's amazing.
But like, so if it is a performance.
Best pair of shoes I ever got, by the way. The Pharrell Adidas.
Really?
Yeah, I've got them on right now. Best, that's literally
nice.
best.
Those are nice.
Yeah.
But if it is a performance art piece, would you not say it's like one of the most brilliant things?
Oh, if it is, it's great. I mean, that's the other thing this is the thing about, how the press plays this double game where, so everyone's like, why does Kanye so think he's a god, and why is he so full of himself, and da-da-da-da-da. And then Vice a couple days ago, and I like took him to task on Twitter, where they're like, no one should meme the This Is America Donald Glover video. No one should meme. And I go, why are you talking about him like he's a deity? You can meme whatever the fuck you want.
If you tell the internet not to meme,
yeah, like, and then
within
of course,
seconds.
Yes, it was like, you're not. It totally betrays the message of the video. The betrayed, like, what is he, a fucking god? He's some dude from Atlanta. I don't give a shit.
Who wrote that?
He's a fucking, I don't know. But I was like, yeah, it was like a whole like, and it's like, nah, I'm just gonna treat him like a dude I know, and like, or that an artist.
Talented as shit.
Oh, he's fucking great. But yeah, like
there's no you get no free passes on the internet. Everybody gets it.
Yeah,
man.
you're gonna get it. That's like they made fun of Michael Jordan crying. They make fun of Kevin Durant saying you the real MVP. Like
yeah. So they made fun.
I'm sure there's some 12 Years a Slave memes. Like I'm positive,
of course, especially on Black Twitter.
Yeah,
you're aware of Black Twitter, right?
Yeah.
I have a hard time explaining what Black Twiter is to people.
It's a state of mind. I mean, it is. It's a state of mind.
What's the state of mind of Black Twitter?
The state of mind is
because I have a hard time.
Petty sense of accountability.
That is a great description.
Yes, we're holding you accountable in the pettiest fucking way, with a with a black woman, gay black man, a heavy. Like 5 shakes of that. Like, no, just keep shaking, baby. Keep shaking. Like,
that might be the greatest description of Black Twitter I've ever said. A petty sense of accountability.
Yes.
Because it's people talking shit and, like you said, peppers so much truth into it.
Yeah, it is. They're holding you accountable but it's in the pettiest possible way. It does have, like, its intentions, I think, are good. Its intentions are the thing we were talking about, which is like black pride.
Yeah.
Basically. And like a black sensibility born from black culture, be it slavery, the church. Yeah. Like, it's all that. It's all of it in the same.
I was talking to, I had Desus and Mero on my podcast, and I was talking to them about how I think Black Twitter itself has literally changed how companies market to the general public. And it shit is insane to me that it hasn't been like documented yet.
I hope it doesn't, in a way. Like, I hope it doesn't, because nothing gets better being documented. Like, I'd rather it, once somebody documents it, it's over.
I would disagree with that.
Go.
So Mother Teresa is heralded as like this saint, godly, untouchable.
Except by Christopher Hitchens, yeah.
Yeah. So when you document the ails that she's had and the intentions that she had behind some of the things that she did, it kind of unveils the authenticity behind what she and who she was.
Right.
And so for people that don't know, think I'm just talking shit about Mother Teresa. Christopher Hitchens came out with a documentary about her and how a lot of what she did was rooted in extremely evil things, but underneath the guise of the
kindness,
religiosity of Catholicism. We're human beings, we're greater primates, and we're gonna have sex. And they were convincing Africans to not have protected sex, therefore further spreading HIV. Mm-hmm. Like, that's evil shit, and they know that.
That ain't just Mother Teresa. That's the whole. But a lot of the evangelical.
That's what I'm saying. But like, there were things like that. There were things like they were holding people in these like houses that were just full of like despair and disease, and just instead of getting the medical help, they were praying for them. Like, it's evil shit.
Yeah.
But anyway, so when you document some of those things, it brings.
You're talking about taking someone to task. That's good. That's journalism.
Right.
Black Twitter.
Black Twitter's
a culture. It's not. It's a culture, and when I say it's state of mind, it's a state of. It's a mentality. It's like you're not going to be able to even approach. It's like a swirl. It's just literally like it's like an energy. So it's like it's an energy that like don't just let it be. Just let it be, because you're not really gonna. You can't.
Well, why not just capture the essence of that energy instead of trying to document it? Why not just bring it to life? Because I think it's important when you got JetBlue taking slogans that came from these people. Well, they're content creators, and they're getting.
If you're saying that it's being appropriated for monetary gain, absolutely, fuck that. And fuck that. But what you're talking about is like documenting it. It's not like Jesus and Mero like they're people are getting paid off this shit. Like they're starting to get money from it. Yeah. So like it takes a bit.
I think maybe bringing it to light might bring some more people up. And that's why I love people like I love like Nick Cannon. I love Charlemagne. I love cats like that who have influence, who understand like cause cats was literally, I was talking about this with Desus and Meros, like cats like that were literally, they were just cats at their regular job, just tweeting, talking shit, developed a little following from talking shit and having jokes, and all of a sudden, bam, they have a career.
Yeah.
Like, and that's just from somebody having the wherewithal, be like, yo, we can monetize this.
Yeah.
And help them along the way, and we can get something out of it. It's a win-win for everybody.
Yeah, Rob Delaney is in the new Deadpool. No, motherfucker, it's because of Twitter.
I don't know.
He was a white fuck, the funniest dude on Twitter.
Let me Google.
Like, even as a black person, you're gonna, oh, this motherfucker's funny. Like, it's not like he doesn't do like, it's not white comedy per se. He's just a funny motherfucker.
What is, I've never, I got
Rob Delaney, but he's in the new. He has a TV show in England, and he's in the new Deadpool, and it's like literally because that's the democratization.
What is white comedy?
I would say it's a little more. It's like drier and more like based in irony and like observation and dryness and. Being astute and being like, touche.
So what is black comedy?
Black comedy, I would say it's based on, the difference is it's got to be more visceral. It's just got to be visceral.
So
it's got to be.
People that don't know, because I do, what visceral means.
Visceral means it's got to hit you in the gut.
Right.
It's got to be
I have
like
no fucking clue what visceral.
Viscera is literally your guts.
Really?
That's called viscera. Like, I think it's based, like, the chamber, like your lungs. I don't know if you probably know about the body, but like, there's your lungs, and then there's literally a wall of like
stuff,
fiber or cartilage or sinew or whatever.
I have no idea. I had no.
And then the rest below that is the viscera. It might be called like the viscera scandi or some shit, like some Latin shit. So that's visceral. So visceral's in the gut, hits you in the gut. Like a roller coaster is visceral. Like, oh shit.
Ah, okay. Yeah. Thank you for that.
Like comedy, like white people don't say oh shit. You know what I mean? Like that's a black comedy. Like, oh shit, and like that's a black comedic reaction.
Gotcha.
So in order to get a black person to say oh shit, what do you need to do? And that's black comedy. I used to have that fucking...
That shit needs to be like on a website.
The test is take it to a barbershop. Take that shit to a barbershop. How would that shit play? And that's why, like, talking about 3 mics is like, I'll take 3 mics to a barbershop. The comedy parts for sure, like the stand-up parts. Like, I'll talk about slavery and fucking black people singing and all that shit. Fucking football player does football. Like, I'm good. Fucking try.
So where do you draw the line as a comedian? Because I think as an artist you have to take risks. Mm-hmm. So where do you draw the line between comedy and offending?
I mean, to me, offending is only comes down to. The only thing I would be offended by is...
I'm talking about you. I'm talking about the general public.
Yes. I'm talking... My sense of offense is more artistic offense than like... than like abortion. Like, I don't... You know what I mean? Like, it's more just like... I think that's a shitty joke.
Right.
Like... It's a low level, beginner level. The level of difficulty is low.
Right.
More than
like
I think there are like there can be good fart jokes. But because they're fart jokes,
man, I have yet to hear a funny fart joke.
Okay. Great. You're on the same page as me, which is like
I think it's the corniest shit.
But now the comedy legend Dave Chappelle fucking loves fart jokes, loves shit jokes.
We're gonna part ways, and he's one of the goats.
We've been parting ways. Like I just been like, yeah, man, that's on you. I just don't fuck with it.
Fart jokes. It's so remedial. Like it's elementary. Like kids laugh at farts.
Yeah, exactly. So that to me is like that's offensive to me, but only because I just find it amateurish.
I think comedy has to be the one vehicle in our society that you can say whatever you want without people getting upset. Because there has, it's like petty accountability. That is like almost like a self-correcting diagnostic system in our society that's like, okay, don't take yourself too seriously.
Yeah, that's what comedy is. That's what Rock always says about like Michael Richards and all that shit. It's like, he wasn't going to say it again the next night. Right. The audience will let you know if a bit works or not. He wasn't working out a new bit and seeing where the laughs were. He fucked up, and he would have not done it again. Like comedy is pretty good about like, you put the product out on the shelf, and when they take the product, then it's probably not offensive. If they're gonna just be like, nah, that just rubs me the wrong way, I don't want that. But it's not gonna be like but the idea that somehow comedians are being held to the standard is just it's theater. It's like watching Michelle Wolf with the Correspondents Dinner. Yeah. It's literally everyone's just doing kabuki, where they're like, I am offended, and I am, and it's like, you guys get offended every year. They literally get offended every year. They didn't get offended last year at Hassan, but they got offended at Larry Wilmore calling Obama the N-word. They got mad at Wanda one year. They got mad at Don Imus. They got mad at Colbert. Trump got mad at Seth. Like, it's like every year people are surprised the comedian's offended. It's like, you motherfuckers can't hang.
How do you even go about getting invited to a Correspondents Dinner as a comedian? Is that like
as the comedian? It's just they just have a list of like.
Is that like a holy grail? Is that like one of the things that comedians aspire?
Not really. Like, it's one of those things. It's a bit like a job in a weird way. Like, it's not like, and then someday I'll host. I think everyone that's been asked to host has always been like, okay. Right. I don't think anyone's like, and then I'm gonna, because it's a fucking hotel gig. Yeah. It's like, and up
until some stiff shit.
Yeah, and up until like Seth's had a big like. Seth kind of got a big pop from it, but like nobody else really got. Like Michelle did, Seth did.
I started following her.
Yeah, Michelle did and Seth did. Those are the two big ones. And Hassan had a smaller one, but a bit of a bump. But like most people, just doesn't really make a difference. And it's also not a good. It's just not a good it's not a good room. Right. So you're sort of.
I think what's his name had a great. He was
Colbert?
Key.
Oh, Key, yeah, Key and Peele, yeah, Keegan-Michael Key.
Okay, so I don't want to butcher his name because I'm a fan of his work, but like when he did that thing with Obama, I thought that shit was that shit was pretty fun.
Oh yeah, it's great, but it doesn't have. It's not like they know. People know the football sketch more than they know that. Right. They know like Darcellus, Marcellus, or whatever.
Yeah, I hate that sketch.
Is that true?
Yeah,
that's interesting. Why?
I think the first one it was like, all right. But then, like, after a while, it's like, it got a little, like, it's kind of corny.
All right. But the first one, the second one is just capitalism. Blame capitalism.
Okay, in that case, I'm not mad at it at all.
But you see that you understand that black football players have funny names.
I think it's just black people in general, man.
That is
correct.
And
it's only going to get worse now that Wakanda is a thing.
100%.
So I'm positive somebody has named their kid Wakanda something. Or
what's the name of the material? Obtainium?
I hope not. I hope nobody names their kid Obtainium.
I promise. What's the name?
Vibranium.
If you don't think 200 people name their kid Vibranium,
there's no fucking way, bro.
Arian,
you talk about a manic episode.
At least 200 people. If it's not first name, absolutely middle name.
I'd be surprised if a T'Challa doesn't, or a T'Chaka doesn't.
There are gonna be so many. It's not even. So it's incalculable.
Black people are definitely more creative with names than any other.
Well, because it's like, it's just an instance to just go like, I'm not with all that white shit. It's just like, nah.
That needs to be documented. Why do black people name their kids the shit that they name?
Because it's just a way of saying like, nah. No. It's like black people know that that the word is spelled ASK. They're like, nah, you mean axe? No. No, I'm not doing it. It's just like it's a tiny rebellion. It's a tiny, that I really believe that.
Which makes sense. No.
That to like, whatever black name you want to think of is a small rebellion that it's a way of going like, I don't forget. Even when it's like really uneducated people that do it,
right?
I think it's a source of pride.
Like fuck that, I'm me.
Yeah,
I think that's the beautiful thing about human evolution, that the evolution of language. So when people talk about proper grammar, I hate that shit with a passion. Like, because to me that just shows the ignorance of your understanding of how language evolved.
Right.
Like, language evolved because there were subgroups of people that migrated somewhere else and talked a little different dialect.
Fucked it up a little bit.
And then they moved and they changed the way they talk.
And they couldn't remember.
And come back around
shit.
the circle.
Yeah.
These two people don't have any fucking clue what each other are saying.
Yes.
But that's how language evolved. People think it was just bestowed upon them by a thesaurus. That's not the case, man.
Yeah. Well, that's, again, white people love rules.
Wow.
Love rules.
I was FaceTiming Lil Duval the other day, because sometimes I'll just hit him up because I think he's like a little booty.
Well, I would like to make a joke about that, which is it could be a head to toe shot of Lil Duval, and it's a FaceTime because his fucking head is so big.
I'm gonna let y'all have that one out, man. But
he's fucking sharpening his knife.
Yeah, for sure.
Lil Duval's a fucking hilarious
that's my fucking
dude.
guy, man.
And in fact, I'll say that Chris Rock sent me a Lil Duval clip the other day.
Really?
Yes.
That's huge.
Yes.
Yes. So is it? I want to get back to that Lil Duval thing, but is that like a thing too? As far as like, because I remember hearing Jay-Z talk one time, and he just like, you just picture Hov like in his little throne. He's like, he said this, but he's like, if your music makes it to me, that means you're doing something. Is it like that with Chris
Well, that's with those. Well, I mean, Dave's. The online diets of like the iconic comedians would make you laugh out loud. Like, I'm not gonna say Dave will go on World Star for
really?
hours and days at a time.
Really?
Yes. Like, again, one of the smartest dudes who's ever lived.
Yeah. Like, how can he stomach that? I can't follow that shit. I mean,
yeah.
Maybe it might be his dose of reality because he can't go anywhere.
That's part of it, yeah.
Right.
Like it's just if it comes like people, if something's funny, if something's funny, it's funny. Like it's just fun. Like as good. All right. As good comedians, that was Keith, my dog.
Yeah.
We appreciate good comedy, so it's like or just a unique opinion.
Right.
You don't have to be famous. It's not like,
But
like Rock tried to get me to go see. He's like, we got to go see Corey Holcomb tomorrow night. Corey, just a black com. Like again, like you wouldn't be like, what? Like
now, do they know that? Because that's such a.
Does Corey and Duval know that? I have no idea.
Corey Holcomb.
Yeah.
Because that's such a cosign.
Yeah.
Like, that's like because I just put out an album. That's like Jay-Z saying, yo, you gotta listen to this.
Yeah.
Like, that's fucking okay. Yeah, I know him.
Yeah.
That's so huge, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
What was the point I was gonna make was that white people love rules, and
yes,
I don't think it's necessarily just white people. I think it's people in general, because I was just, sometimes I get in a rut about society, and I like to reach out to people just to kind of talk my thoughts out. Part of the reason why I have this podcast. So I was just like in this rut, and I was like, yo, people are fucking stupid, and religion this and da da da. And he's like, yo, people need religion, man. And I was like, no, they don't, man. It's like it's detrimental. It mentally enslaves people, yada yada. He was like, dog, people don't have time to think about the shit that you're thinking about. He's like, people don't.
This
have
is
the
all
time.
Elective.
Yeah.
These are all. This is all.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, the people need. Look, rules and laws make society possible. Like literally, that's what society is. Yeah. It's Did you read that book, Sapiens?
No.
All right, you got to read it. Right. You of all people,
Who wrote it? I forget.
Yoram something, but just look up Sapiens.
Got you.
But his one of his premises, it's the history of humankind on Earth, and one of his premises is that there's these agreed to myths that and that's what society is. This paper is money, and we all go, yep. It sure is.
That means a lot.
That's money. No, it's no longer paper. It's not just paper. It's money. And we go, that is correct. We all go, that, yes, it is. And Christianity, like every religion, every borders are myths. There's no Iraq and Iran. There's no.
I'm gonna read that, but
dude, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's so up your alley. Yeah. It's crazy. Like, I thought you recommended it to me. I swear to God. So it's these agreed to myths, and yeah, people need religion. It's like there's no, the Ten Commandments. To me, the religion. I mean, all religion's man-made, and it's like, so you think it's a coincidence that the Ten Commandments are basically like also the 10 top laws. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's like those are also like, it's a 1-to-1 ratio of like, oh yeah, you can't just fuck a person's wife, or I mean, you know what I mean? Or you can't murder, or you can't whatever. Yeah. You can't take a man's calf, or whatever.
And so I kind of double back, because like if I'm talking about 6 months ago, if you asked me about political correctness, I'd have been like, it's stupid, it's dumb. Like I'd have said that, but I've grown a little, who knows in what direction, but I've grown a little and I've changed my opinion, because I think political correctness is just an attempt at diplomacy in a world where goodness is subjective.
It's a little fucking decency.
Yeah.
In a lot of cases, it's just a little decency. Yeah. It's like, I used to, on the Champs podcast, I used to say the N-word sometimes. But it was always quoting someone else. And then I came around to going like, just give black people a little something. Yes, Neal, you can make a case that you write it and you write it for this guy. That. Right. Just let them have a little something. And that's what political correctness is like. Just give, just don't call mentally challenged people retarded.
Right.
Like, just let them have that. Do you know what I mean? Like, exactly. Or whatever, whatever the thing is.
That was my thing.
It's like if someone's been raped, just like saying trigger warning. It's not, what does it cost you?
That's the thing to me. Cause I follow a lot of right, I say it all the time, but I follow a lot of right, leaning either news sources or personalities. And a lot of the time they're like, political correctness is an attack on free speech. And I'm like, it's only an attack if it's legislated that you can't say anything. I don't believe in legislating any kind of speech. But
a social price is not a law. Paying a social price doesn't make it a law.
Yeah.
If people boycott you because you said some dumb shit, that's the price you pay. That's the
risk you took. But to me, that rhetoric is so divisive, man. And I'm like, if whatever you're like the transgender issue, like if you're however you want to be addressed, like I'll address you as that, because I don't want to spend my day arguing with you about pronouns.
Yeah, exactly.
Like I want to be a happy human being. I think that's the goal. People's life should be like, let's go towards happiness, man. And if me saying a word bothers you like that, and if either I'm going to leave the conversation or I'm going to say the word that you are comfortable with, because like you said, like what the fuck does it cost me?
It's like I mean, most things in that people complain about are the least you can do.
Yeah.
It's like, you couldn't be doing anything less would be nothing. So it's it's like Chris's joke about minimum wage. If they could pay you less, they would. Like that's like doing the least you can do. Like calling transgender people, not calling transgender people trannies. That's literally like, that's very little.
Yeah.
Like that's not a problem. I don't, the idea, it's also the idea that somehow it's how the people who think that is being able to say tranny is freedom have a really narrow understanding of freedom.
100%.
I mean, that's the thing. It's like, that's having a gun is freedom. Do you think you're free?
Yeah, bro.
You think you're free out here, you stupid motherfucker? You think you're free and that you can take on the government? I always feel like once a year they should have a tournament where a militia takes on the Marines.
That'd be fun to watch.
And just like televise it. Yes. Just like militia.
Freedom games.
Yes. To keep the ready militia versus the actually ready militia. And just like, let's do it. Let's see how you do.
That is an interesting notion, that whole gun. That I don't even want to go down that road, man.
Yeah, but I'm saying
it's an interesting notion that people.
Now, the counter argument to my militia thing is people go, well, they did pretty good in Afghanistan.
Yeah, I don't think so though, man. Because
I mean, Afghanistan would have lost, meaning the insurgents.
Yeah.
That was just a matter of like, we didn't want to send that many. I mean,
that's
it's like
what I'm saying.
They retreated into the mountains.
If we wanted to nuke them, we could.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
If we wanted to, whatever the case may be, we could. Like,
yeah.
And their argument was like, well, Afghanistan and Iraq, they're doing great, and I'm like, it's not the same. Like, if they really wanted to wipe out a population, they would. They're doing it because they're like, if you're not gonna win that battle.
Yeah.
And they're not winning that battle.
Yes.
Like, it just is what it is.
Yeah.
I don't. But people are stupid.
Yeah. And people want to believe what they don't want to believe. It feels good to believe what you believe.
Is there a remedy for that? Like,
I don't think I thought maybe yelling would help. No, I think that people are like, the more studies they do, the term is motivated reasoning. That's people are motivated to believe what they are. Like, you want to believe that you're not going to get CTE. Again, to put it I'm just trying to think of the clearest thing of like, because you don't want CTE. So you look at all the dudes that don't have CTE. You're looking at all the dudes that like, well, he's fine and he's fine and he's fine. And you're not looking at the guys who do have it.
Right.
That's motivated reasoning.
I'm not gonna lie. So this has happened to me, and I always say like I haven't had any effects.
Yeah.
But the last like 2 or 3 months, I don't know what it is. It could be because I'm working my ass off like with this podcast and this album, and I have so many side projects. It could be part of that. But I get in these bouts where I like wake up and I am just frustrated for no reason, and I'm pissed off. Like, at everything makes me mad. And my lady right now, she tries her best to cause I tell her I'm honest. Like, I don't know why I'm so mad right now, but I'm just upset, and I don't know where it comes from. But it slowly dissipates throughout the week. But it lasts like maybe a day or two. And maybe that's what that is. I have no idea.
That sounds pretty mild. I mean, that doesn't.
But that's how that shit comes on.
Right.
I very well could. I mean, I took a lot of hits to the head, man. So I hope not.
And I don't mean to make light of it, like in terms of like. But do you know what I mean? Like, that's an example
of. You should make light of it.
I'm having to make light of it, like in other segments, but to say like you might have like. My
mom might be mad at you, but I won't.
Right. Well, she's already mad. Enough about that. I'm not going to bring that up, my personal life, into your podcast. There is, that's motivated reasoning. Yeah, that's another term you love. When you see motivated reasoning, it explains like everything.
Yeah.
It's like why people on the right will defend Trump. Because he got them tax cuts. So they'll go, I figured all presidents fuck prostitutes. And you're like, no, they don't. I mean, again, yes, because, and again, right there. But that's your blackness flaring up. That's your blackness flaring up because black people will believe not any conspiracy, but black people believe because there have been so many conspiracies against black people that you're like, well, why wouldn't it? It's like that sketch we did the when Dave is on jury duty. Right. And he's like, OJ didn't do it, R. Kelly didn't, these people didn't do it, because it's like, well, fuck you, white people. You've made the justice system so fucked up that I'm not even gonna acknowledge it as having any decency.
I hear you, but I do think all presidents have fucked prostitutes.
You think Obama's fucked prostitutes?
Yes, man. You are the most powerful man in the world, dog. And you're still a man. I don't care. Like, I knew how it was for me, right? I was a pseudo famous running back in the National Football League. I said no so much. Yeah. But I said no. I said yes very little. The percentages of that I said yes were
like irresponsible and awful and hurt people.
I did a whole
but they
lot
don't.
of
You don't
damage.
get credit for the times you said no,
Which
Arian.
is bullshit.
Yeah.
But in my head, I do.
Yes.
But what I'm saying is, I was a running back and playing football. I had a mask on. I wasn't that visible. NBA players, that's a different level. The president of the United States of America.
I believe NBA players get more offers than any president.
No, hell no. That president, you're wilding.
When are they gonna fuck? Like when?
Whenever they want to. I mean, they have secret chambers. Like you could have an entire day set up. Like you can have.
They gotta release their schedule to the press.
Paid security screen the women. No cell phones. Like you
can't. In order for someone to meet the president, you have to submit your social security number.
Exactly.
They do a background check.
A screening.
Right, but they don't go
filter your
again, you've never been in the White House. It's fucking like level. Like the idea that Clinton fucked Monica Lewinsky is still crazy to me.
It's not.
When you see it, you'd be like, how the fuck did he fuck somebody here?
Easy.
It's not like Kennedy where it's like there's not that many staff members. People are happy to look the other way back then. Now people are not like dying to look the other way. You can't. At least Monica Lewinsky was like Dave's joke, where it's like, "You come here." Like she was around. So the idea that they fucked a prostitute, I think most of them don't.
Okay,
fuck.
not prostitute.
I think most of them don't fuck. I think most of them don't cheat, and the ones that do fuck somebody local, like nearby, like literally, like Monica Lewinsky.
I totally disagree.
But I also want to stop the car for something, which is the idea of turning women down is so goddamn funny because they don't understand it.
That's true.
They don't understand when they deal with someone with status.
Right.
Like a woman wanted to, like basically offered to hang out yesterday, and I just said, no thanks. And it was like,
they don't ever hear no.
That's funny that a guy was like, no thanks. Like, I know I don't want to have sex with you. I know I like I'm supposed to want to have sex with everybody. Or a girl was like, I decide. And I'm like, do you not understand? Like, I turn people down. Like, I know that's fucking anathema to you, but I turn.
But you gotta understand that mindset. Like, it's not hard for a woman to engage in sex.
In a
all
split
they have
second.
to do is
decide. Yes. Yes.
It's like rare. 99% of the time, you're gonna get what you want as a woman.
Yes. And that when a guy goes, no, thank you. What? What are you talking about? And they don't understand that a guy would be in a position to go like, oh, I have options, and you are not the one I want to take.
But that was the thing about it, that when you said no, when you were married, it was like a magnet. It was even worse.
Yeah.
Like it's even worse when you say no or they know that you're involved.
Yeah.
It's just a dangerous situation. But they don't understand the president of the United States. You cannot.
The level of protection around them is insane.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm not saying, but you're only seeing it like nothing will get out. Yeah. What I'm saying is nothing gets in.
Because they choose for it to not get in.
I mean, I can't explain this enough.
You can vet women. You can vet men if you want to.
In order to, you have to sign in. You have to submit your thing. It's like, if you think about Michelle Obama, your wife lives fucking 40 yards away. Her office is down the hall. Like, their staffs cross over.
Listen, this is what I know. This is one thing I know about men, though.
We'll figure out a way.
Yeah, dog, you are Pink Panther with the 007 with the highs. Yeah. I've jumped through loops to try to clear my track.
I don't believe that Obama or George W. or George H.W. or Reagan. Reagan, no, I don't. Reagan was so afraid of his wife, it was crazy.
You are extremely optimistic.
I guess I'm naive. Call me naive. I guess I'm a true believer. I guess I just love America.
You know what's funny is like you're not a romantic. That's what,
at all.
That's
but I don't. But I don't. But that's not about
and like
romantic.
I low key am.
That's about. Just like the infrastructure of it. That's what makes it impossible to me.
But that's what makes it possible to me.
Yeah.
What do you got coming up? So
I'm on the road. Basically, I'm doing like 25 cities. Starting June 6th, Chicago. I'm doing Chicago, Milwaukee, Indianapolis, Kansas City, Minneapolis, Detroit, Vancouver, Seattle, Portland. Those are my summer dates. Then I'm doing like 20 more in the fall. Bigger cities like New York, LA.
Do you enjoy the road?
I don't. I like flying. There's parts of it I do. I'm vegan, so I don't get to go to like I'm going to the barbecue spot. Like I don't get to do that thing.
Right.
And tourist attractions don't do much for me. But I like. I don't mind it.
Because you don't strike me like as a people person, as far as
I'm not a huge people person, but I don't mind the ritual of just being in my room and then going like, all right, I'm going to go hit the streets. Let me find the CVS, which sounds like nothing, but it's satisfying. It's satisfying to like, I need toothpicks. I need the dental floss picks. Let me go Yelp CVS, and then I got to walk, and then I see like, oh, they have a tram here or whatever. You're laughing like a guy who's been on the road a lot.
Yeah, because it's just hilarious.
You're like, oh, Charlotte, you have a tram or whatever. Like, I wonder where that tram goes. Or like, Atlanta, I didn't know you had a subway.
Yeah,
like,
Florida.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like, all right, like you sort of see.
That's that when you start aging, you start appreciating shit like that. You're like, that is a nice architectural bridge.
I knew I was getting older when they opened a new train line from downtown to Santa Monica, and I was like, I think I want to try it. No, I'm never going to use it, but I want to try it.
100%. My mom was talking about that a while back, talking about like as a family, like we'll do a train ride across the country or something like that. And I was interested. I'm
you're like,
huh? We're
going to use the A14 train? The Smoky Mountains Express, Mom, runs.
I much prefer the wash life rather than the club and bar hopping life, though.
I don't really drink that much, so I like stimulants. Like meaning, I like to be up. Right. I like to be like on alert.
Do you smoke weed?
No, I smoked weed maybe a month ago, and I was like gone. I hadn't smoked since we wrote Half Baked. Since we were shooting Half Baked, and I was like, holy, people were like, it's different now, but it was like, it just isn't for me. Now. It's just not for me.
What I like to do now is, I don't like to smoke the leaf. I like to vape. Because, sometimes like when I smoke, I'll get too high, and I don't like being stuck, where I'm just like staring at people, or staring at the TV, and thinking, there was one time, funniest high story I've ever had, or high thought, is I went to a cabin, and it was with a bunch of fellas and some lady prospects. We were smoking, and we were watching the Up in Smoke tour with Eminem and Dre. And I convinced myself that Eminem was put into hip hop by the government to try to infiltrate black people. I got that high.
Yeah.
Like, that's when I was like, I don't like really smoking like to that point.
Yeah.
Where I'm like,
and like, did they train him to rap that good?
I don't know.
Or did they, was he like at an underground, he was at a rap battle and they were like, he's the one.
He's the one. I think we got him.
Yeah.
So I like to vape because when you vape, I feel like you can control how high you get. So like, and you can do it like without all the smoke and you don't smell like it. But like I just take a couple hits. And I feel good. When I feel myself coming down, I take a couple more hits, and I kind of just stay at this nice little even kill.
That's good. If it was for me, I'd take it. I have drugs that I take modafinil, which is basically a stimulant. Like I take that shit like a couple days a week.
Is that opioid?
No, it's not an opioid. Oh. It's they give it to air like naval pilots to not sleep. They give it. It's a narcoleptic. medication. Yeah. So when pilots have to fly a sortie
so
that's
taking
super
shit
long.
to not sleep?
Yeah, but I just take it during the day.
To not sleep.
But I like just to be up, just to be like.
I don't know how healthy that is, man.
Just to be alert. Look it up. I don't know either. Because sometimes, Arian, I'll be mad all day. I want to talk about
you dying on the
I want to talk about what I'm doing, because this goes back to something we talked on the last podcast that we died because the whole podcast died, which is I'm less interested in. I'm less ambitious than I've ever been, because I've accomplished stuff. And I've gauged the level of satisfaction I got from it,
right,
and weighed it against the level of satisfaction I get from doing nothing. And it's close. It's close. And again, it's hard to say that in a capitalist society. It's hard to go, hey, work hard, play hard. Fuck the first part. In fact, don't do anything hard. Like the idea. Again, this goes back. My mom one time during Chappelle's show sent me a pillow or like a poem with like an Irish poem on it, or a pillow with an Irish poem on it, and it said like something, 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 and may God provide work for your hands. And Chappelle saw it and goes, man, white people are obsessed with work. And again, we are obsessed with like accomplishing, and I'm knocking this out and knocking that out. I love not doing. I like making Instagram videos. I know that's stupid. I just like it. It satisfies me to be able to shoot myself saying something, edit it on my phone, and then put it out. That's as satisfying to me. And I know this sounds like bullshit, as doing a TV show. Like I know it's by scale. It's like, what are you talking about?
Right.
I don't. I just like the process of doing things, and I find that reducing or limiting or completely neutralizing stress is really, really great. And that's and I'm in a lucky position to be able to do it. Like, I don't expect everybody to be like, I'm like, you can live a stress-free lifestyle. Just have a bunch of money from doing sketch shows.
It's really easy.
It's so easy. But I'm saying from where I'm coming from, what I find it's gauging what you actually find satisfying. It's living life on my terms. Now, it's easy for me to say that. A lot of it is because I got a lot of juice from 3 mics, meaning I got a level of respect I'd never gotten before, and saw what it was. It like sort of checked a box in terms of like, oh, I am good. And it was like, oh, this level of respect wasn't, first of all, it was already high. I didn't think it was high. Right. I just had low self-esteem, so I thought no one thought I was good or whatever.
I big you up a lot, bro.
Yeah, thank you, bro. I appreciate that. It keeps me going. And then doing a thing that was like really well received made me go, oh, like I don't know if I said this to you, but I was saying that I wasn't sure before 3 mics. Between 3 mics and writing for Saturday Night Live for Dave, the way I would criticize myself was, well, you're good at sketches, but you've never written multicam sketches, which is like the difference between Saturday Night Live and Chappelle's show. Like Chappelle's show, single camera. So it finally got me to a place, and now I'm like, okay, all of this stuff about legacy, I don't buy. All this stuff, all I care about is having a good first person experience. And what I find a good first person experience is my clock or my metabolism is like, I'm pretty slow. I'm like a slow roaster. You know what I mean? Like, come by. People go, what'd you do today? And sometimes I'm like, I don't even know. But I was entertained.
I definitely ate food.
Yeah, I know I ate. I remember that. But like I was entertained, and I was content, and I was happy.
So I think,
and I was not stressed. That's the big thing.
Yeah. So I think, and I'm only 31. So, but like when you talk to like people at the you know, I know it's not like a deathbed, but like you're nearing towards the end of the life, that's the conclusion that they come to.
Yeah.
Right? So I had a podcast with my mom, and that's what she said was like when, or not that she said, we looked up this study that they did where people who were in a hospice, and especially old people, that their number one regret was living the life that they wanted to rather than what people expected of them.
Yeah.
So it's like they
didn't do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that's like, man, I can't even imagine like thinking like that. Like, man, I got to do this. I got to do this rather than like what makes you happy. So it's like,
but it's 100%. Also, it goes to the thing I was saying about Jordan and black beauty standards and all that shit is like American worth standards are bullshit. Are just like this. So, I don't even subscribe to this. Like, why are you? I ingested it and took it on. And again, I'm glad that I accomplished the things I accomplished, and I hope to accomplish more things. But the number one thing I want to accomplish is happiness. Full stop. That's the number one thing I want. It's not an external thing. It's an internal thing. And it's not going to be based on much of what I accomplish. It's mostly based on shifting my own perspective within myself. I meditate, I do TM, and at the end I go like, you're the only one who can affect your emotional thermometer. I'm the only one. It can't be based on like, did they like me?
Yeah.
Did they? It can't be about that because all of that is bullshit. Because even if you hadn't played football or didn't put out a good album or any of that shit.
Thank you.
Yep. You still have to be worthwhile.
To myself.
Yes. Yeah. It can't be like, as I said, like Dave's funnier than me, Chris is funnier than me, Mulaney's funnier than me. Like, so does that mean my life sucks?
Yeah.
That these guys had a weird combination of cells and experience and brain.
That's the American way, is that you attach your self-worth to your production in society.
Yes.
And it's ass backwards. Mm-hmm. But that's why you see like I never wanted to be those cats, man. Like when you see like old heads at the bar, like 50, 60 years old, still doing the things that I was doing as a 20-year-old.
Yeah.
I used to look at that like, I mean, I'm not judging you, man, but it's just like, there has to be some kind of validation you're still seeking. Like you're still out here partying, you're still out here wilding. Like there has to be some kind of validation that you're out here seeking. And like where do we go to find that self-validation? And I think I've always been gifted, or whatever you want to say about
it's that. A choice. It's a fucking choice. It's you have to just decide that you're worthwhile. It sounds like the corniest thing in the world, but it's literally just like, no, I'm worthwhile because I don't know. Or even the idea of worth is like, well, what if someone said you have to do esteemable things to get self-esteem? And I was like, no, I don't want to have to do anything. I shouldn't hate myself to begin with.
Yeah.
Like all that's learned.
It's definitely learned.
It's like these cultural laws and standards that you have to live up to, and if you don't, most of them, if you trace them back, is trying to get you to buy something.
Yeah, it's advertising. Like we were talking about how Lil Duval says, like, yo, people don't have time to think about this kind of shit. You came to this realization after a multitude of success, multitude of failures, multitude of things that the 99% of the population will never achieve the success that you had. So, like, what advice can you give to somebody reaching the realization that you have?
Try to separate the two. I know it's fucking hard. It's really hard. Will Smith said something to me when I was doing that Jay-Z thing.
That's an incredible line right there.
Yeah.
Will Smith said something
I know.
to me while I was doing this
I really taught myself with that name drop. I've had some hot ones, and that was really, I'm peaking as we finish. But Will said, and I didn't. It's not in the. They didn't use it. We didn't use it. He said he had a dream, and I almost don't leave this in the podcast, but don't promote it.
Okay.
That Neal talks about something with.
I got you.
He said he had a dream, and he was on the top of a mountain. And I said, by the way, that's what people think Will Smith dreams every night.
Of course.
And he was top of the mountain, and he was looking over the mountain range. And one mountain was music, and one mountain was TV, and one mountain was movies, and one mountain was money. And he was
that's exactly what Will Smith should be.
He was the king of this kingdom, right? He was looking over the king of the mountain range, and a voice in his head said, "Mountain climbing will never make you happy." And he said he sat up, and that's it. There's a story about Prince. Jeez. Prince one time.
So you're saying I can't promote that?
You cannot promote that.
That shit is.
You can leave it in, but just I don't want to be like Neal Brennan talking about it. Like
I would love to get sued by Neal Brennan.
Yeah. So I just don't want Will to be like, come on, man. Although he said it, so whatever. Even Prince said, someone said, why don't you write another hit? Or he was like, I could write another hit. And they go, well, why don't you? And he goes, I've been to the mountaintop. There's nothing there. It's a matter of what are your terms?
Define your success.
And defining your success. And it's really, really hard to take it outside of the realm of external validation and success, chart pop, and whatever. Yeah. I'm number one this, number one that. It's really, really, really hard. And maybe you have to top the charts to get there. But if you can do it without it, and you can do it without judging yourself for, like, you're not going to be as good as somebody said to me today, a really funny guy said, if I thought about Donald Glover being in the same genre as me, I would lose my mind. A comedian said that. And it's like, but why? What does it mean if you were great at comedy? Meaning, what does that mean in terms of, like, it's a great, unless you have fun doing it.
See, I've actually thought about that. Right?
It's a big part of that book, Sapiens, which is like the French peasant may have been more satisfied than the American multimillionaire because they had no expectations.
So this is what has put me at peace with any kind of endeavor that I try to go into from here on out. Like, I just released an album, right? So, like, what does success mean to me? Success to me means people receiving a project, listening to it with an open mind, and saying, okay, that was dope.
Yeah.
Also, somebody in the music business who is respectable, in my opinion, as far as, like, I like the quality of music that they put out. They care about their craft. And they hit me and say, yo, that's dope. That has happened, both of those. Ninth Wonder, and I'll name drop because it meant a whole lot to me. So Ninth Wonder is like a Grammy-winning producer, and he reached out and was like, yo, I see you. You did this. That shit is crazy to me. Also, some random stranger on Twitter DM'd me, said, hey, man, like, one of your songs, it just got me so emotional and helped me get through something I was going through.
Yeah.
Those feelings were the same to me.
Yeah.
So, like, to me, it was a successful album. I'm not going to go platinum. Like, I don't think people ever give it that chance. But the thing that got me at peace was, okay, going platinum or being a huge success in your genre means that a big majority of the public liked what you did, right? I don't like a big majority of the public.
Exactly.
So why am I sitting here trying to get approval that I don't give a fuck about anyway?
Yeah, that you don't approve of.
Not only that I don't approve of, but I don't even think I have the wherewithal to take in the content that I'm trying to create anyway, right? And that's just super arrogant, but I just think it's the truth. So I'm trying to attack a small pocket of people who will appreciate it. And I've already done that. I've reached that goal. So it's like, I mean, to your point, it's like you have to draw out, like, what does success mean to you? And it's hard for people. It's hard for millionaires. It's hard for, the most successful people in the society, or Will Smith, to say mountain climbing is not going to make you happy. For me to tell you, like, yo, I don't know how much money you have, it's not going to make you happy. You tell that to a poor person, they just think,
I know. Exactly. Or the other thing is, if you say I'm saying I'm less ambitious, but also I did 2 pilots that didn't get picked up. So of course I just seem like, well, I don't even, so?
Right.
So what, bitch? You ugly anyway. Like, I'm not, when I was doing the pilots, I was like, this isn't that much fun. Right. Like, I just knew that I wasn't having, like, it was more fun to just stay home. Right. And, like, I'd rather do like, it's impossible to believe that, that it's hard to say capitalism implants a lot of bad ideas. Without sounding like you were spurned by capitalism in some way. You just sound like a jilted lover. And I'm like, I'm not a jilted lover. I could go out and fucking hustle and make and do shit I don't want to do. 100%. There's I could go write for almost any TV show. They'd be happy to have me, I think. Right. I just don't. I'm just not. I don't know. I like this. I like this.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think it's so like that was the kind of quarrel with like Marxism versus capitalism. Like Marxism says, and then they tie it to communism all the time, but Marxism basically says what capitalism does, and it's on point. What capitalism does is it makes people believe that their work is tied in their worth, and Marxism is more so do the things that make you happy as a human being. And so he gets a bad rap because Marxism was adopted by communist regimes, and so they say, oh, look what Mao.
It can't work,
which is bullshit. I think, I mean, we would have a long way to go, but I think what kills me about that, and I say it all the time, is like usually that's right wing Christian people who are like communists, but like when they die and go to heaven, they're hoping for a communist state. They want to be dictated by a higher power.
They don't even know why they don't like it.
No.
They just go, well, it's against it. And it's like, but really, what do you
love the ideals.
You've been taught not to like it.
Yeah, exactly.
It's hard not to, I said this last time, you almost have to be angry it's such a chronic headwind where you're just always into the wind, where it's like you gotta. But if you question your motives, why do I want this? Why do I want this? Why do I want? Because I'm on the road, and I'm doing so. Chicago, my show in Chicago sold out, and they're like, "You want to add a show?" And I'm like, then I have to worry about selling those tickets.
Right.
I don't need the money.
Right.
It's just a matter of I want to be considered. I want Live Nation and bookers and promoters and other comedians to think I'm popular, and Netflix to think, and then it's just all like, and then what, Neal? Then what?
It's a never ending.
In the case with Netflix, at least like they'll see that I'm popular and go, we should have this popular person on our network, on our platform. Yeah. With other comedians, I don't like. They already respect me. Like, what are they gonna? Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, what? It's this dumb. It's paranoia. It also, capitalism makes you paranoid. That's 100%. Another thing, like, that I never really thought of before. Yeah. Is like, it makes you paranoid, and being poor in capitalist America is fucking humiliating on a daily basis. Is that they just humiliate you.
Yeah, if you buy into it. I think if you're secure.
Dude, who's not insecure though? I mean, you know what I mean?
I don't think I'm insecure, man.
No. But I'm saying, were you when you were 13?
Of course. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. That's where the humiliation comes in.
Yeah. And I think, I think I was just lucky in the fact that I was so arrogant about my dream that it didn't.
It's a podcast, right?
Yeah, of course, this is what I want to do with my life. But I was so arrogant about my dream that I didn't believe people when they told me that it was a low percentage that I could not be in the NFL.
Motivated reasoning.
100%.
I mean, motivated reasoning, it can be positive, but
Yeah, but I'm glad I had that young, though. Cause
it's that thing of, like, guys don't believe it. They tell you at training camp, at rookie orientation, most of y'all are going to be out of the league in 18 months. Literally not one guy goes, that's me. So long, fellas. Nice to meet you.
You guys enjoy your longevity of a career. No, but like I'm glad. Like I said, I'm glad I had that shit young, because as an adult now, I like to make informed decisions, which can be viewed as a little more safe, but it's more for the protection of the happiness that I've cultivated over the years. And so as a young kid, I was just fearless, and that fearlessness it was a gift and a curse.
Yeah, it is related to look, capitalism. It's like the Marines. It breaks you down and then builds you up. It breaks you down and goes, you ain't got these shoes, motherfuckers. I mean, you ain't vacationing here. And then you're like, well, I'm going to work a double. And then or whatever your thing is. And then you get it. And it's like, you here now, baby. But you not here. It's always, I don't know if I've said this to you. Anytime I've been on a private jet, like the 5 times, I've never paid for it. It's always whatever. Without fail, the person who got the private jet, when you land at the airport, there's a bigger private jet, and they go, that was the one I wanted to get. Jeez. Every single time without fail. That's the good one.
That's true, man.
That's the good private jet.
The Joneses, man.
Yeah.
Joneses.
It's just like, it's human. It's because we're scarcity animals. We're based in scarcity. That's why we overeat. That's why, because we're not used to living in a society where there's enough provisions. That's why I actually kind of believe that's part of the reason why guys cheat, is because we can't believe anyone's ever going to want to fuck us again. So we're like, well, I better stock up.
I think part of it is because it's the thrill of the hunt.
Yeah,
it's like you want to believe that you still. That's like Patrice O'Neal said. He said, you trying to catch fish, and he said you want to let your lady know that you still like to catch fish, or you can catch fish. Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. I think that's a brilliant.
The best thing I did a show in Vegas with 2 friends of mine, and they're both good looking. And
you don't have regular friends, by the way.
I know. And they're white famous people, so I'm not going to drop their names.
Whoa.
And because it would break my streak. And we got on the elevator after the show, and there's a woman there, and she goes, "Can I just say I'm married, but I would fuck all you guys." And I was like, that's the nicest thing anyone's ever said to me after a show. I would fuck you, but we don't have to. But I want you to, you know what I mean? Like, I don't have to do any of the.
It's so genuine.
Yeah, genuine. I have nothing to gain from this. This is about you. It's not about me getting sexual attention. Yeah. It was like the most bona fide, just genuine, heartfelt, I want to fuck you.
Won't, but I want to.
Yeah. I would. Yeah, that would have been really nice.
That's an impressive compliment.
It was really great. It was very thorough. Arian Foster, that's our time. Great podcast. You were great.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Thanks for coming to the house. Got to heat the old equipment up.
Yeah, man. It's beautiful.
We did it. 137.
We did it. 2 tracks. Don't record that yet.
Yeah, I won't.
Don't stop it yet. We have to end the same way, man. So I'm trying to get Jim Carrey on the podcast.
Oh, right.
And so since you know all the famous people, maybe you can.
You know what's funny is I don't know Jim at all.
Really?
I've met him once or twice, but I don't know him at all.
Well, get to know him and then tell him to come on my podcast.
And then boost your shit.
Yeah, man. But you have to lobby for him, man. Lobby for me.
Yeah, done. Jim, he'll come to your house. So that's like 80% of it right there. One of your problems is going to be that I bet he doesn't like football. Meaning, so he would have no like context for finding you interesting. You know what I mean? Like
that's the goal, though. So if I have all of these dope ass interesting guests and we put like a compilation video together, it'd be like, there's got to be a part of him that'd be like, that's pretty dope that he was that consistent for a year straight.
Yeah.
To think about Jim Carrey. That's how I think about it.
Okay. I mean, look, you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Yeah, I mean, it's a shot in the dark. I reached super high.
He may pull a page from Neal Brennan's book when the girl hit on him and just go, no thanks.
No thanks.
No thanks.
I hope you don't do that, Jim. No, I appreciate you coming on, man. Bro. And so if people can find you where
nealbrennan.com, NealBrennan. And then Twitter and Instagram.
Boom. So look him up. Cool. Funny as hell.
Thanks, bro.
Yeah, man. No, for sure. Underrated. Oh, please go check out his 3 mic special.
Oh yeah, 3 mics on Netflix.
Man, because that shit was. I think that's a brilliant template for a comedy special that people need.
Thank you,
see, man. No, for
thank
sure.
you.
I appreciate you, man.
All right, bro.
Much love.